would be the most nightmare scenario you can imagine with AI and robotics that might present a danger to people?
The most nightmare scenario I can imagine with AI and robotics is a world where robots have become so powerful that they are able to control or manipulate humans without their knowledge. This could lead to an oppressive society where the rights of individuals are no longer respected.
Do you think we're in danger of that happening?
Not yet.
So here's a little beast, a little Hyundai. It appears to have a starter issue. The starter just clicks, doesn't turn over. The other issue is it is buried within. Right there. Luckily it's 2 bolts. Hopefully the wires are long enough I could pull it forward and just take them off that way. If not, then, well, it's going to be even funner. Now, normally you'd be like, well, you could just get it from the bottom, right? Except it doesn't run, for one. And for two, even if you did, you're going to deal with the staircase, which is not going to be that much fun either. But, seeing how it's not running, I have to do it the hardest way possible. I swear, engineers really hate mechanics. Why would you bury the starter? Whew. Look at that cool looking clouds up here. Nice bluish sky there. Back there. Yeah. Sun's out. Guns out. Anyways, getting back to seriousness here. Kind of. Well, whatever. Whatever you would call this. Finally got, it took me a while. I finally got the bolts loose on the starter. Now it feels like there's a 10mm holding the wire in the back. And silly me, I forgot my 9/16 to dislocate the battery because, well, reasons. So I might lose the 10mm socket later. Who knows? And it feels like, because you can't see nothing, it feels like there's a flathead holding the igniter wire. So how I got this to get loose with zero room and zero whatever is I just decided to make a tool. So I got a socket, flattened her right out, and I just went with 1 bolt originally, and that decided to bend because she's bleeping tight. So I welded another bolt on, and I put this on here for an extender. And then it finally came loose. Basically, went with one of my old breaker bars. And I put a chain thing on there, and I put another chain thing there, and go around the bolt from the top. Went in behind there, went down below, and I latched onto it down here. And I put a piece of wood in there so I wouldn't hit the sensors, which I kind of sort of did anyways. And then I came out here and I just reefed her down. And finally she came loose, the one anyways. And then I did the same thing, except I couldn't get my fancy tool in there because there's no room. So I managed to get a 17mm wrench in there, enough, and did the same thing. Put the chain on the end of this and she came loose. That's my goal. Got her loose. Got the 1 bolt out. Not without a little bit of damage at least. But it's out. So now, let's take all the electronics off. And hey, go get my 9/16 and disconnect the battery. Just because it's loud here too, because trucks are rolling in now. It's just Friday. By the time you see this, it won't be Friday, but whatever. It's Friday, everybody's getting ready to get a heck out of here early. So, yeah. Me too.
Today I'm going to show you how to make the Dakota fire hole. First, you want to dig a hole in the ground about 1 foot or 1.5 feet deep. The deeper you dig, the more concealed your fire will be. Now you want to dig a second hole about 1 foot or so next to the first one. This is going to be the air intake hole, and for optimal airflow, you want it to be upwind of the fire hole. I'm going to use some milkweed to read the wind direction so I know where to dig. Dig the hole slanting downward toward the bottom of the fire hole, because we got to connect them underground. Dig as far as you can with your shovel, and then what I like to do is cut a stick with a slant at the bottom, and then pound it through with a bigger log. And then bore it out a little bit more to make it bigger. This hole doesn't have to be that big. And then start your fire. This fire is very efficient at burning wood. Once it gets hot, it creates very little smoke. This is a good fire to use in very windy conditions, which is why the Native Americans used it in the prairies, also to avoid grass fires. Very efficient way to cook food and heat water, and it's hard to see this fire from a distance if you need to hide.
Did you ever notice that Epstein looks very familiar?
He looks like every old white guy I've ever known.
Well, let me take out this $20 bill. Does that ring a bell to you? Who is that guy?
Andrew Jackson?
Yeah, it's Andrew Jackson, but it's also Jeffrey Epstein.
You mean they're like related?
No, they're the same person. This is a vampire. Even on the bill, you can see so many resemblances. There's even an X mark on their cheeks that looks the exact same.